the 17th of the astral moon, so we skipped 3 days. But this is chapter 13. Come hell or high water. Hi, Ludo Bug. Welcome in. Good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Grace. Good evening, innkeeper. Good evening, Grace. Could I ask you for a drink? Anytime. What can I do you for? I'm pretty spent. You have something that will keep my mind awake for a little longer? I should have something that can do just that. One moment. Something for the mind. Silent Owl is new. I want to read through all of these later. There's a lot to read over here too, which is cool. All right. We're going to write up the Silent Owl. All the intellect. With some... it's good. Thunder Sage. Little inspiration. Little bit of dexterity. 2 shots of strength. Silent Owl is done. Feed the egg! Feed the egg! Isn't her design great? Nice ukulele, dude. Very cool, very cool. I love that. A drink for the mind and soul. Enjoy. Thank you. This is just what I needed. Why are you still so tired? Thought you were done with your thesis. Oh, I am. Which also means I need to figure out what to do next. Possibilities are endless, but not boundless, so considerations are a complicated endeavor. Have you considered a break? I have. Say, innkeeper, if you had forever, what would you do with it? I've never thought about that before. I like being an innkeeper, so I could just keep doing this forever. It's relaxing and safe, and I get to meet all the most wonderful people and wizards all day. Forever is a really long time. Isn't there anything else you would like to do? No, I'm content with my existence. I see no point in changing it. I don't know if I should be happy or sad for you. I'm happy with my existence. Better? I don't believe you. What would you do with immortality? I would learn everything there is to learn. Every language, instrument, skill, and facet of mortal existence. I would travel the plains with my brother and learn even more. Have an infinite amount of tea parties. And come to those. When we were little, Hex would always make all the stuffed animals dance around our little tea table. We didn't have money for music boxes, so he just made up songs for them to dance to. He sang them to me. If I had the time, I'd love to write down all those songs and invent dances for them. You should make time for that. It's your time, after all. And besides, well, you don't have forever. You do have quite a lot. An elven lifespan is nothing to scoff at, even if you only get half. Not if you got the human side of the lifespan. Oh. That's less time. It is. But I'll make the most of it. What will you do next, then? I'm not sure yet. I was thinking about going to Ashfidel. The capital of magic, capital of the Magocracy. The capital of the Magocracy. I heard the libraries there are 60 stories tall, and rivers float through the sky in an exuberant display of mana. Sounds like paradise for someone like you. Yes, but Hex really wants to stay here. Do you go on adventures in this game, or do you stay in the tavern the whole time? We stay in the tavern the whole time, Jal. He likes Fasoa, Zenith, the Ashen Grove. I think he likes how quiet it is, if you would believe it. I don't think he'd like the bustle of it all. You could just go without him. There's a Major Creation Embassy in Zoford. Their teleportation is expensive, but reliable. I don't think he wants to go back to Zoford either. And I won't make him. He could teleport himself then. He really shouldn't. It's quite a long distance and he's always been awful at teleportation. He could take a ship. I appreciate the effort, but I don't think a ship would help make the distance acceptable to him. He's always going to follow me, no matter where I go. I think he doesn't want to miss out on any adventures or celebrations or funerals. You can just tell him you want to go alone. But then he'd be alone too. Just talk to him, Grace. I don't want to spend our time together fighting. I just don't want him to spend it in mourning me either. You should tell him that. He'll have enough time to mourn you when you're gone. Unlike life, that never ends. I suppose you're right. I'd like to leave something he can remember me by. Maybe I'll build my own wizard tower. Please do. I love those. Did you hear about the one on Morlia, near Dalwell? The one with the infamous Major Creation. That word is so new to me. I want to make sure that I'm saying it loud, like, smoothly. The one with the infamous Major Creation fugitive. The very same. It seems that its wizard has disappeared without a trace, leaving his tower vacant. I've always wanted to stop by for tea, but don't want to be rude and intrusive, so I haven't. I wonder what he left behind. I'm sure it's a collection of fascinations and impossibilities. Couldn't you just teleport in to check? You can't exactly teleport in and out of well-protected places all willy-nilly. You might end up trapped or on a whole other plane. You might. Maybe that's what happened to the wizard? Maybe. No one seems to know what happened to him or who he even was. And no one seems interested in finding out either. Isn't that sad? A little. I don't want to disappear like that. You won't. I can tell I'll tell your story for as long as I'm around. How long is that? For as long as this world will bear me. You are very easy to bear. Thank you, Grace. Would you like to stay a little while? Please. I find your inn truly inspiring. I'll be here if you need a rubber duck. I'm counting on it. Hiya, innkeeper. Hiya, you two. Drink, please. Or two, actually. Sure thing. Actually, what name are we on right now? Well, Aura is still fine. Come on, that was a whole week ago. I was busy. Wanna come up with a new one now then? Can I come up with one? Sure. How about Kumo? I feel like you look like a Kumo. It fits. He is just as stealthy as a spider. And just as cute. Take your word for it. Our drinks. Can we get them now? Of course. What would you like? Something sweet. Bubbly, maybe. If you can find something that, you know. Sure. I'll see if I can find the words you're looking for. Charisma it is for our boy. 1,000 wins. Brr, 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 brr. Ding. Are they dating? I went to the bathroom. No, they just finished a quest together, so they're friends. At least right now, is according to what we're seeing. Liquid charisma for those in need. Maybe you should try it then. You want to send it back? No. It's good. Glad to hear it. Fable, what can I get you? Maybe something that will make me feel like a cloud? Like I'm so light on my feet, I'm practically floating. I think I've got something just for that. Do they want a swift strike? They want a swift strike. Can't go wrong. Feed the egg. The usual for the usual favorite. Thank you. Ah, it's delicious. As usual. That's what I like to hear. I like the new hair, by the way. Oh, you do? Thank you. It looks really nice, right? Kumo braided it for me. He helped me calm down after we encountered the Mary Morgan. But I should probably start at the beginning, right? That wasn't enough for Andrew, he needs more? You right, I did only give him a little bit. Kumo braided their hair? Appreciate that. Alright, so... what happened at the beginning? The ship to Borus? Right. I was a bit worried about the journey we were embarking on. After all, the seas around Borus are famously hard to traverse, with all the winds, wild magic around it and all. But just before we left Zenith, we ran into Una in the midst of an arm wrestling match against Iniko. We took the opportunity to ask her for advice. Thought maybe she had traveled there before. You could have also asked me. She was closer. Right. Did she have any good advice? She did! With her help, we were able to avoid all of the dangerous maelstroms, sea stacks, and iceberg elementals. That must have made for a very relaxing journey. It did. It was very inspiring, too. We were able to see the dancing, colorful auroras in the night sky as we drew closer. They were starless, but they're still breathtakingly gorgeous. I even started on a new song. It wasn't ready to be shared yet, though. I just wanted a sneak peek. Well, you should have snuck better. A new song? Can I hear it? It's not done yet. Thanks to Una, we made it to Borus a lot faster than we had planned. We also docked far away from the typical explorer's route. It was completely abandoned by everything but nature, as if no one but us had been there before. Kind of exciting. Very adventurous for sure. As we headed inland, we were quickly swallowed by the fog that engulfs almost the entire island. Moved in strange patterns, creating unidentifiable forms within the mist that hungered for life. The thickets rustled as we walked by, whether moved by wind or by creatures we couldn't tell. The trees were shaped strangely with shimmering portals forming in their empty husks. Our town, our own quiet breaths were often interrupted by shrill shrieking sounds that seemed to come from right above us. It was almost idyllic. Or scary. It was mostly scary. I wouldn't have minded strolling around until we ran into something roaming the island, but it was a little cold. So, I found a local to ask for directions. While wandering around, we came across a clearing surrounded by tall trees. Or rather, one tree. All of them were connected, intertwined with one another. Through one of their twisted connections, a waterfall with no discernible origin was flowing into a small pond. And in its midst rested a nymph. A real nymph. Doing taxes? She was weaving flower crowns for the fish. She was beautiful, with long black hair and skin that glistened in the sunlight being reflected off the waterfall. Her eyes were like sparkling gemstones, and her smile was full of kindness. She was alright, but also the only person around. So, Fable asked her for directions? No. Fable asked her about everything but directions. I asked her for directions. She was very helpful. She even gave us a gift. A gift? That's sweet. She gave us earplugs against the Banshee's songs, so our bones wouldn't shatter. Very helpful. Did you offer to write her a jingle in return? I did. She said if we were to survive the encounter with the Banshee, I could come back and she'd think of what she'd need a jingle for. She was thinking about setting up a dragonfly exhibition, so maybe for that. Who would she even advertise to? Frogs? And toads? The Banshee was our first priority, so we stealthily made our way to the lonesome lagoon with earplugs in our ears. We mostly walked and talked about our favorite dragonflies. As we finally approached the lonesome lagoon, the thick mist enveloped us. It suddenly became so cold we could see our own ragged breaths. Then we heard it. A song filled with all the sorrow of the world compressed into a single note. It sounded really nice. There was so much song, there was so much emotion in that song. Sadness, longing, yearning, anger. We wanted to be polite and wait until she was done singing, but she just kept going, like tears that wouldn't stop. So, I decided to be a little rude, stepped forward and said hello. They said, "Hello, Banshee, I really like your song." That confused the Banshee so much that she stopped. She smiled, bearing a row of deadly sharp teeth. She was very nice, actually. She asked if we wanted to steal from her lagoon. When we said no, she invited us to sing along. Did you? Of course. It was kind of fun. It was, and I thought, what better time to bring up the Mary Morgan but now? So I led with, I bet you do this with your girlfriend all the time, right? She suddenly looked at me with hatred and anger and then just started screaming. I was very thankful for the earplugs at that moment. I think without them my bones might have melted. That was our cue to leave, so I pulled Fable back into the thicket of the Borean forest. Obviously, we couldn't just leave it at that failure, so we looked around for a peace offering. We found some spiky pink fruits on them with a pattern of little ghost tortoises on them, and we thought she might like them. She liked them enough to stop screaming at us, and we sat down at the side of the lagoon to talk. It's beautiful, by the way. Right in the middle is the giant portal to the Twilight Chasm. Its colors the water this deep, dark blue with swirling clouds of darkness within. There were bones floating in the lagoon, too. I almost brought one for your tavern. Why didn't you? I thought you wouldn't like it. I love bones. I'll keep that in mind for the future. The Banshee actually fished out some bones to fidget with. It stopped her from screaming every time she brought up Mary Morgan. Or Marmor, as she calls her. Turns out the Mary Morgan has been ignoring all of her calls. Ever since the Banshee was crowned Gaia's scariest monster by Screech Magazine, she told us it carved a hole in their relationship, that it caused a lot of jealousy. And she was disappointed that Mary Morgan cared more about some stupid popularity contest than her. We asked if she wanted to talk about it with the Mary Morgan herself, but she said she didn't need to apologize. She didn't need to apologize for being scary. She was very thankful she got to talk about it, though. She was holding it all in because she didn't want to burden Bio with all the drama. She even offered for us to spend the night at her nearby cave, which was really nice of her. Did you end up taking a nap at her lair? We thought about it, but it was filled to the brim with the riches of the dead, which was far too alluring to allow us to fall to the call of sleep. You found loot? You have my attention. What did you find? Gold, bones, skulls, jewels of all sizes, and a lute! It was broken, but I picked it up anyway. It was also a delicate silver mirror that had hearts carved all over it. Kuma recognized it as magical from its arcane markings. Melina showed me them in some book the other day, when the wizard in Zo Forward showed us around his library. It was a mirror of far speech. It lets you speak to anyone on this plane, given that you've seen them before. So you called Melly? No. We called the Mary Morgan. Ah, that makes more sense. How did it go? Well, I had to be the one to make the call since Kumo had never met her. When her face appeared, all I could do was stare in horror as she gazed back at me. I felt like I was back in the Ashen Grove, leading adventurers to their doom, and I just froze. So I took the mirror out of her hands. Her first words were threats of what she would do if we had dared to harm the Banshee. Of course we hadn't. That briefly calmed her down. Until I asked her why she wasn't here, if she was so worried about the Banshee's well-being. Avoiding the question, she instead talked about the state of the lagoon. She complained that it must be incredibly loud with all the tourists and whatnot. I assured her there were no tourists, at least none that were alive. So she asked what I was doing in the lair then. Honestly, I replied that the Banshee had offered us a place to stay in her cave. I quickly realized that I had picked the wrong thing to say. Her eyes started bleeding black ichor and she began cursing us out in tongues. The mirror cracked under her gaze and started bleeding black water. It was terrifying. And then, we were just supposed to sleep there, as if she couldn't crawl out of the mirror any second. After that happened, I thought that we should discuss our further plans in that cave. So, I pulled Fable aside and we went out for a walk. The nymph had mentioned this enchanted flower field where she collects flowers for the fish. So we went there. Thought it might be a good spot. It was a good spot. Even though I couldn't stop shaking for a while, though the flowers really helped. As did not being alone. Was that when Kumo braided your hair? It was, yes. My hair kept falling in my face and it was overwhelming me. So he sat me down and braided it away, while I worked on rebuilding the loot. He said that some distraction would help. Talking also really helped. Even if I asked a lot of stupid questions. They weren't stupid, just curious. Did you have a favorite one? They asked where I had learned to braid hair. That actually brought us further on our quest. How so? Well, I learned it from my mother. It's the only thing I feel I have left of her. It was her way of apologizing. She was never very good with words. It made me think. Sometimes people aren't very direct with what they mean. I have heard that, yes. Like the Mary Morgan. She didn't seem angry with the Banshee outdoing her in some fear pageant. She didn't even mention it once. She only got upset when she thought we had hurt the Banshee. Or when she thought we were tourists, or when we said we were staying in that cave. Like she was jealous of something entirely different than from some issue of Screech magazine. We talked it through and decided we had to get the two of them to talk face to face. Obviously, it would be difficult because of the distance, but I had taken the mirror with me when we left. Thought it might be useful. Ever the thief. Indeed. I used it to call Baya. I asked her to tell the Mary Morgan to come to Borus. People mentioned we can teleport via plants. She can teleport via plants, however that works. She can. You should try it out. It's nauseating. I think we'll pass. While I went to talk to the Banshee, Kumo picked up the Mary Morgan. She and I really connected on eyeliner techniques. When we arrived at the lagoon, they were immediately ready to claw at each other's throats. And not in the fun way. But, somehow, we managed to convince them to sit down. We tried to get them to talk about their feelings, but they just kept talking past and over and away from each other. Arguing about an issue that didn't exist. So I had this crazy idea, I took out my new lute and asked them if they wanted to write a song together. They declined and insisted their voices would clash, but I thought at the very least it'd stop them from arguing. Kumo helped me convince them by summoning tiny rain clouds pitter-pattering in a gentle melodic rhythm to inspire them to give them a try. We asked them to put all of their emotions about the whole situation into a song. In the end, they harmonized together perfectly, like their voices were made for each other and the gentle hum of my lute. It was beautiful. And a little bone-shattering, but very romantic. Most importantly, the song finally got them to understand each other. Like Kumo had suspected, the Mary Morgan was scared, not jealous, now that the Banshee was so popular. She feared the Banshee would become really busy with tourists visiting all the time, and she assumed she wouldn't have time for her anymore. But the Banshee assured her she doesn't care about any of the tourists, only about the Mary Morgan. And Baya, of course. We told them to talk to her too, and mention how much she had been missing them. They agreed to meet for a tea party in the Ashen Grove, so Baya doesn't have to travel too far. Did you invite them to your barbecue? No. After the outpouring of emotions, they wanted to have some time for themselves. Quest was done. It had only taken us 2 days, which was really efficient. Unfortunately, we had told the ship to pick us up in 3 days, so we were trapped on the island. So you swam back? What? No. What's wrong with you? The usual. We started brainstorming about what we could do while we waited. So I asked about that cheesecake recipe. But then I realized there wasn't any way to bake it. They don't have any taverns in Borus. It was a stupid idea. It wasn't. Somewhere on the island had to be something to bake a cheesecake in. Did you find that something? We did! But it turned into its own small quest. First, we had to find the right place for our little adventure. We met these lovely gnomes living in their little mushroom houses. They offered to let us use their ovens. But they were too small, so they introduced us to the local Toad Hill giant. Its kitchen was enormous, but it was easier to work in than one that was too small. And the gnomes, the nymph, and the giant helped us gather ingredients from all across the island, so we were able to make enough cheesecakes for everybody. I burned mine a bit, but when we made the second batch for the ship's crew, they were already starting to turn out better. Kumo is a really good teacher. You're a really good student. Thank you. The cake really lifted the crew's spirits on the journey back. We agreed to teach them the recipe once we hit land. Afterwards, they invited us to the captain's birthday party. They even introduced us to Traveling Obelisk, who sang us a song of the ancients. It showed us a shortcut through the Ryoliths mountain range where we met some flaming songbirds. And now you're here. And now we're here. I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you two didn't run off into the sunset together. I want them, it's very, like, pushing the direction that they might have a very close friendship. I don't want to, like, presume relationships, but, like, I'm gonna do it this one. Glad you two didn't run off into the sunset together. What? I would never not tell you about my adventures. That's not what I meant. It just seems that you really enjoyed your time together. I thought maybe you wanted some more. They're so cute! Where are you two going next? I should probably talk to Melina. She was pretty mad when I left. I guess I should apologize while I still can. Good idea. Do you want me to come with you? No, I think I need to do this alone. Or rather, with her. And I haven't checked in on Rufus, too. Maybe Hex taught her some fun magic tricks in the meantime. You left her with Hex? And with Grace? Don't worry, nothing was set on fire. Fan art commencing. Yeah. I should go. But before I go, do you maybe want to do something together later today or tomorrow? Like a thing? Let's go, Kubo! Oh, like hanging out together? We could play charades with the werewolves. Yeah, is that what you were thinking of doing, Kumo? Yeah, Kumo, is that what you were thinking of doing? No. I was thinking more like spending time together. Like on a walk? Like on a date? Oh, Fable, damn it! Okay. Sounds really fun. Look at him's blushing! Cool. I'll pick you up, or I'll see you around, or whatever. I'll see you. I'm looking forward to it. Me too. The boy did it. So proud. He asked me on a date. He did. That's... Oh, what do I do now? Do you think Archie has books on dating? Or should I ask the Hydra for advice? It probably knows something about dating, right? Archie is still on his quest. Also, I'm right here. You're right. What should I do? Just go. See where it takes you. Or where he takes you. Hopefully somewhere nice. I do feel safe with him. So maybe I should try trusting this more. Mostly, I think you should just be honest with him. He seems to like you for who you are. So there's no need to hide. That's the scary thing. Why does he feel that way? Because you're very lovely? People keep saying that. But sometimes I just feel a lot lovelier hiding, you know? To me, it sounded like perhaps a bit too late for that. Sorry for listening in, but you were just very sweet. It's okay. I also thought it was very sweet. He was very sweet. But now that he's gone, I have time to think again. And I'm not sure if it was supposed to be that type of sweet anymore. Maybe he was just being nice? He asked you on a date because he was just being nice. Well, maybe. He felt bad for me, or something. Innkeeper, dear, I think Fable might be in need of another drink. Maybe something to untangle her thoughts, something for a quick escape from all of this overthinking. That sounds good. I'll see what I can do. Just now you go on a date, Fable, right, Lex? Just drink like 20 cups of charisma cocktails and everything will be fine. Yeah, Grace out here with the real one. Another Swift Strike? Really? I was going for more intelligence, but they're asking for a Swift Strike. Alright. We give the customer what they want. Alright. We give the egg extra. Because apparently, y'all said I didn't give him enough. So he's gonna get one of each. How about that? A little bit of this. And then we're gonna shake him like a doll. And then his poop's gonna be rainbow. Still not enough. Who said that? Apparently y'all didn't think that I gave him enough. Look at his eyeballs. He's so cute. Alright, ding! Hi, Austin. Welcome and good to see you. Tavern's going well. Another swift strike. Does this help? Yeah, very much so. Thank you. I feel like I now need to uncurl the yarn ball that is my brain. What do you think I should do? What do you want to do? I want to go on our date. And I want to get to know him better. Maybe even get him to know me better too. You think he would like that? I think so. Yes. It seems like you don't need our answers. You have yours already. Sometimes I just feel like I need permission to listen to my heart. Did you know that you can give that permission to yourself? Forget that every time. But I know you're right. I think I know what to do now. Somewhat. But I'll figure out the rest. Thank you for listening to me. I think sometimes that's all I really need when I'm scared. There's nothing wrong with being scared, as long as you don't run from the things that make you happy. You're right. It took me a while to realize that. Running is so easy, you know? You always know where to go. Away. But staying, you actually have to look at yourself. Figure out what your part is in everything. It can be a lot. But when I was on the journey back from Borus, dancing with Kumo to the music of the navigator's fiddle, thinking about how I would have never gotten to that point if I hadn't put myself out there. I realized that life is so much more than a constant game of hide and seek from the things that truly mean something. And I decided to stop running from life, even if I'm scared. I want to do my best to face my problems, even though it's terrifying. I know that I'm not alone. Is this still about Kumo? No. He was never a problem. He's one of the reasons I'm not alone. Just like you. With good friends by my side, I can do anything. I can't wait to see what you will do. It might not be as impressive as you hope, but it will be me. I'm excited about that. Me too. I'm really proud of you, Fable. Thank you for everything, especially the great advice. That was really great advice. Maybe you should take some of it too, Grace. Maybe you should. But we all conquer life at our own pace. My personal next Goliath is going to be reapplying my lip gloss. And maybe some blush. I do feel a little pale. Can I borrow a mirror for a bit, innkeeper? Of course. There's some free rooms and mirrors upstairs, right next to the acorn chimes. Just ignore the doors with the do not enter signs. You shouldn't have said that. Now I want to check. Please don't. I won't. I'm polite. Or am I? Let's hope she won't find all the nightmare creatures you have locked up there. Let's. Have you ever visited the Twilight Chasm? Not for long enough to capture any creatures. I see. What are you thinking about, innkeeper? I wonder if they add voice lines to the game. They have been asked that many times, and there's currently no plan for that. Oh, you know, innkeeper things. I don't know, I mean. No, I mean, since I'm not an innkeeper and all. Right. That song you mentioned, the one you started writing on the ship. I know it's not done yet, but how about a little sneak peek? To see if it will make for a good jingle. I don't think it's jingle material. But I don't mind sharing it with you. Just keep in mind that it's a work in progress. Of course. Oh, there's a calling on the wind beneath the talk of the keep. Heard the tale, set the sails, now it's time for me to leave. Sounds like a great opener. So you like it? It's wonderful. Can't wait to hear more. Me too. But still a little rough around the edges. I feel like it's missing something. Maybe the next adventure? Maybe. Will you let me know when it's done? Of course. Can't wait to show you the finished version. Thank you, Fable. I'm proud of you. For maybe finally finishing a song, but not running. Oh, thank you. Me too. Innkeeper, do you ever think about taking your own advice? All the time, yes. Why don't you? I don't know. It's hard, I know, but I promise I believe in you as much as you believe in me. And I know we'll both be okay. I would like that. Me too. Well, I've talked a lot today. I'll give you some space. Fan art is hard when I don't know what their bottom half looks like. Real. Maybe it's time to stop running. Should I... Is it time to read that letter? Yes. Oh, that was easy. I guess I've been wanting to do for a while. Let's hope for no regrets. My dearest friend, long has it been since we've last talked. Long has it been since everything has been seared away by the cold flames of death. I wish I could still remember our last conversation, but it's waning memory. I can only imagine how you've enjoyed running away, wishing to forget whatever was between us. Maybe you did for a brief moment, for these 30 years. If you did, I'm writing this letter to kindly remind you of the good old times. To celebrate our reunion, I invite you to the spectacle of the century, the last day of the astral moon, welcoming the first light of the dying moon, while the realm of Tuat is just a grasp away. Are there any spirits you'd like to remember? Are you afraid of what they might tell you? Worry not. I'll be right there. Watch closely on the sky. Watch the sky closely on the 35th of Cassiopeia. See you soon. An old friend. That was... I guess you've always been a fan of symbolism. But you didn't even leave an address. Very irresponsible. Pardon? No time. Duck! Now! What's going on? Are you okay? Do you need help? Healing? Something's coming. Something big. Your next show? What? No. There's no time. Duck! Is the ground... Are we underwater? I think... Whew, it was a close call. Could have been really dangerous. What just happened? Why is there water outside the tavern? I'd also like to know the answer to that question. I've got no clue. I was just outside the woods drafting my newest song when the ground beneath my feet began to rumble. Not even a minute passed and it rumbled again, then a wall of water came rushing toward me. Didn't even dare to wait. I ran immediately looking for shelter. No, I wasn't going to let my hair get wet. These strings are made of real Chabian silk and my body's ethereal bamboo. It's a rarity. It's the first thing going through your mind with a giant wave rushing right at you. Of course, this instrument is as valuable as my hands. and just as versatile. Ooh. Is everyone all right? Grace, dragons, you're all right. I was worried something bad had happened to you. Oh, don't worry, when the walls started rumbling, I hid under a table, and then watched the water rush by the window. It was like a tsunami, but tsunamis are rare, if not impossible, this so far into the mainland. Right. It's so strange. Everything seems to be submerged out there. I wonder what could cause such a cataclysm. It's worrying, to say the least. It's definitely too dangerous to go outside. Even the tavern is leaking. Don't worry, it'll withstand. Are you sure? I'm sure. I've gotten through worse than this. I mean, it's gotten through worse than this. Wouldn't have thought it could withstand this sort of thing. But, even more so, glad it can. Seems to be a simple yet sturdy tavern after all. Just like you, innkeeper. Are you flirting with the innkeeper? Me? No. Also, that's besides the point. It is it? I mean, unless. I like to work my body. Helps in a lot of aspects. Can we get back to the point, please? Yeah, sure. The point. Right. Back to the point. Did you see exactly what happened? No, not really. I was listening to the whistle of the wind in the treetops, jotting down notes for my next song. When suddenly, a horde of silver-crested deer rushed past me. Before they could trample over me, I jumped into the rock, up on the rock I was sitting on, and watched them gallop downhill. Then I saw water breaking through the canopies, snapping trees in half like they were shashlik skewers. I wasted no second. I turned on my heel, knowing I'd be done for if I waited just a moment longer. Then I was here, and told you to duck. It sounds horrible. Hi, Newman. Welcome and good to see you. Do we have flooding insurance? I don't think so. I'm fine, thanks. And anyways, with whom do I have the pleasure? I'm Grace. Nice to meet you, Grace. Oh my... You're Voyage, aren't you? The silver-tongued virtuoso. Yes, that would be me. My apologies. I didn't mean to push any boundaries. But I saw you perform at Dropstone Institute's campus at one time. And I must say, you pulled on all my heartstrings with your beautiful performance. I did that? Yes. I was awestruck by what your music could do. It was like music in its very own way. Music can be very soothing in moments of distress. Were you distressed back then? A little. I don't remember exactly why anymore, but I remember the emotion. But not more distressed than I am right now. Hope Hex is safe and well. I'm sure he is. Shoot. Did you see that creature swim by? What? Where? It looked like a red-winged eel. Oh. I haven't seen one of those in ages. Where is its natural habitat? Actually, the Twilight Chasm. Why is it here? Something isn't right. I'm afraid you might be correct. I'm also afraid. Very much so. I don't think it's safe to go outside. Of course not. You should all stay for the night. Would that be possible? Of course. The tavern will withstand this. And a bit of company wouldn't hurt. I agree. Thank you, innkeeper. Say, you with the lute. What's your name? Fable. My name is Fable. Do you play? The lute, I mean. Sometimes. I'm still practicing and not all that good with it yet. How about we play together? A song or two to lift our spirits and wait out the catastrophe going on outside. It's very untuned. It goes out of tune really quickly, but I guess that's a lute's thing. I gotcha. Show it to me. I'll help you, and then we'll jam out until the new dawn rises. Blub blub. Sleep with the fishes. Well, this is annoying. Look at the little dragon sleeping up here. He kind of escaped from the storm or the water. He's just kind of chilling up here. Alright, start day. It's a baby. Oh, and we're still underwater. That's so wild. Grace? Is Grace here? Good mythical morning to you too, Hex. This isn't funny, Innkeeper. Tell me, is she here? Please tell me she's here. She is. I'll let her know you are too. Thank you. At the dragons, I was worried sick. So sick. She'll be happy to know you're safe and sound too. The flood was enormous, and if she had gotten caught up in it... No. Don't even want to begin to imagine. Then don't. How about a drink to calm your nerves? Yes. Drink sounds great. Something that will untangle my thoughts and help me focus. See what I can do. How about a little bit of a silent owl? Either a silent owl or a peak sunrise. We'll do a peak sunrise. It's also got a very hopeful name in it too. With a little bit of fey crystal inside of it, a little bit of more magic. A little bit of dexterity. A little bit of charisma, so you can get the words out. And some for the egg. Did Baya go with the pranksters? She did. She did. Maybe this will help clear your mind. It does. At least a little bit. Thank you, Innkeeper. Hex? Good to see you safe and well. You too! Where have you been? Are you alright? Did you get hurt? I'm fine. The Innkeeper and yesterday's superstars took good care of me. Just as you took care of us. I want to know Andu's story. Me too. I want to know where we got Andu. At least we could have... The least we could have done was be there for each other. How have you been, brother dear? Did you get hurt? No. But I was worried about you. All night locked in that damned house. All I could think about was how the flood might have... Why didn't you tell me you were going to the tavern? I looked everywhere for you. Sorry. I didn't know I needed your permission to go outside. It's not what I'm trying to say. Then what are you trying to say? That you could have gotten hurt and I wouldn't have known. Don't expect a tsunami to hit Gaia every day. Uncontrollable things happen, and when they do our best to overcome them. And I clicked in with that. So I can protect myself quite well. Still, how was I supposed to know that you were safe? I'm an adult, you know. You could try trusting my capabilities. Furthermore, PSAOR was very useful last semester. PSAOR? Protective sigils and other remedies. Ah, yes. Also, the tavern itself is well protected by my own brand of sigils. That's at least something. Yes, and I'm very thankful the innkeeper and his tavern kept me safe. Didn't mean to worry you. Didn't plan on being gone for so long, but then the flood happened. Okay, sure. How have you been holding up? Is the house all right? Apart from some minor damage and some leakage in the roof, I suppose it's fine. I wasn't even aware of the approaching flood until the house's foundation started trembling. I was busy in the workshop harvesting the essence of Dimension 567 for my research. I hope you didn't rip a hole in the fiber of magic again. I didn't, and even if I did, you couldn't have stopped me. You weren't there after all. Right. But I can scold you now. You won't want to when you manage to find out I've actually managed to harvest something. You did. That's amazing. What a huge breakthrough. That would mean I created a teeny tiny rift in the astral realm. Got my hands on some stardust. Well, sort of. How? I got an astral shard when the stars fell. Oh, I see. It's still an issue, the issue of never knowing exactly what might come through when you open these kinds of rifts. Could be anything, or anyone. Like, creatures? For example. That wouldn't be good. Yeah, it wouldn't. Because when your sister disappears again, you wouldn't know if she got eaten by a creature, or if it's just out, or is just out for a stroll. X, cut it out. What? We get it, alright? I went away, you were worried, we get it. But I'm my own person. And do what I like. Getting tired of this. Well, me too. Then stop. I don't want to fight. Then don't. Sorry. It's fine. We shouldn't spend our time fighting when there are so many more interesting things going on. How about a wee bit of distraction? Oh, we could go outside and see if we can take samples of the floodwater. Exactly. Who knows, maybe it holds spectacular and rare magical properties. That sounds lit. Maybe it'll help me finish my long-term research project. Possibly. Though, access to the primordial vortex you need. Primordial seawater, I know, but who knows what we'll find. Don't forget to fill me in on your research. Theopractically, I'd tell you anything, but only theopractically. Wouldn't have expected anything else. Thank you, Innkeeper, for hosting me the night and all. See you soon. Good morning, you two. Did you sleep well? As well as we could with the sweet song of stormy waves pattering against our windows. So, very well, and with inspiring dreams. Glad to hear that. Your impromptu concert certainly helped me sleep. Because it was so boring? No, because it calmed my nerves. All of your nerves, I think. Not that I have any. You don't have any nerves? Is that a phantasm thing? No, I meant those metaphorical nerves. Oh, you get those too? No, of course not. I'm void. Well, yeah, sometimes. Mostly when I have to perform. Isn't that embarrassing? Not really. That'd also make me nervous. Oh. Though, I have to say, last night performing with you for Grace and the Innkeeper was kind of relaxing. I could just lose myself in the performance without having to worry about what anyone would think of me. Not that I ever do, but it was nice. We should make more music together sometime. Actually, Fable just got started on a new song. Maybe you can collaborate. Really? Be awesome. Well, actually, yes, you're right. That would be awesome. I think working on it together could be fun. Yeah! Oh, sorry. Hooray! I'm looking forward to our grand collaboration and charming you with it, Innkeeper. All right. You're supposed to say you're also looking forward to it. I don't think you're supposed to say that part out loud. Oh. Well, forget I said anything. I was just kidding. Enough chit-chat. I should check up on the village. Maybe someone needs a good song to cheer them up. I'm sure Baya would love one. I think Baya is probably cheered up, was probably cheered up by a good flood. But speaking of her, maybe you can hand out some of her spa coupons for me? Sure thing. The spa rocks. I shall stop by Enlightening Grace She's still here? No, she just left. Together with Hex. Something about primordial water. Those wizards. I'll try to catch up to them. See you soon. Don't finish the song without me, Fable. I'll wait for you. Can I get one of those coupons? Sure you can. Make sure to tell Baya I sent you. Of course. What a strange morning. Or exciting morning? Both, I think. Hi, Bloon Moonwitch. Welcome and good to see you. We love Void, but not for Fable. They're taken. Would you like a morning drink? Please. What, you wanna... Swift Strike it is. I'm ready to see what Kumo thinks. Charisma for the boy. Eat the egg. Nope. 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 Hello, Carter Birdie. Welcome in. Good to see you as well. A drink with 0 primordial water. Maybe. It does taste a little primordial. And very delicious. Perfect. You know, last night when I couldn't sleep, I was watching the fish swimming by the windows. Their scales kept reflecting in the water, making them shift and shimmer like they almost weren't there. I was mesmerized by them. It was like a dream that kept pulling me towards the waves. It was beautiful and haunting. Do you think it looks like that every day somewhere? That beautiful? That haunting? I think any place we can imagine exists somewhere, if only in our heads. An interesting drink system, it is really cool. It's very fun. I'd like to see all those places. I don't think they're all safe to see. They're back! Everybody's here. Fable? The dragons are here. Are you alright? I am. The innkeep kept me safe. It's good to see you both are well too. Couldn't you have let us know you were breathing? We couldn't find you anywhere. I'm sorry. I just woke up. You guys worried about me? Maybe. Of course we were. Don't even know if you can swim. I can. Can you? Of course. No. Oh. We should teach you sometime. Sure. Thank you for worrying about me. But I actually had a pretty nice night. Voy and I gave Grace and the innkeeper a small concert while we were all stuck inside. Oh. Sad that we missed that. No, Kumo! I can track down Voy to give you guys an encore. That'd be nice. I'm sorry I didn't get around to picking you up. It's okay. I bet the roads were a bit busy. Yeah. It was a little tough getting out. Rufus loved it though. I think he made some new friends. It seems like this little catastrophe had some pleasant side effects. What happened anyway? Did a whale eat a moon this time? No idea what that's supposed to mean, but no. Well, maybe. I had no idea how it happened. As they say, the primordial sea flooded the Twilight Chasm. It all spilled up through the portals into Fasoa, leaving us with this mess. That's new. At least the other continents probably got through without much trouble. For once, they can be less jealous of our portals. I do hope everyone is okay. Everyone we could check on is. Luckily for us, the water's drained enough to rescue everyone around here. Though I heard that underwater hasn't emerged yet. Happy to see you all emerged. Mostly. What does that mean? Are you still looking for someone? Yes. I was wondering if Melly is here. She wasn't home when I checked on her. No. She didn't stop by yesterday, nor today. Did you see her before that? Did she say where she'd be going? I'm afraid she hasn't been in since you returned from Zoford. The wizard punk hasn't seen her either. Took a second to ask him when he almost broke down Kumo's door looking for Grace. Do we know if she can swim? I'm sure she can, and I'm sure she's just taking shelter elsewhere. You taught her how to hide well, after all. Maybe she's just putting that to good use. When I returned yesterday, I found Rufus eating out of a strange apparatus that dispenses food and water every couple hours. Like someone really smart set it up for him in their absence? Yes. He was gorging himself on some food, but Melly was nowhere to be found. Oh. It's worrying. Did she leave a note? No. Sure she's okay. Maybe ask Una. She probably put her up to something. I shall investigate that avenue. Right now. Fable, would you be okay with moving our time? Time? You got an appointment or something? More like a date. Oh. Can't wait for that story. I'll tell you later. But yes, we should move it. This isn't the kind of dancing in the rain I was hoping for. Me neither. Another time then. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Me too. I hope she didn't try to investigate the fish. They'd eat her alive. Sounds a little more helpful. The girl's savvy. I mean, look at it, that contraption she left behind. Ain't no fish got a chance against her. Being hopeful isn't really my thing. Then make it your thing. I'll let you know when I find her. Such a man of few words. A man of words. He's just worried. Uh-huh. Speaking of worries and words, Carolyn, it's good to finally see you back. How was the escorting? I hope you didn't get too wet. It happened. How did it happen? Well, actually, can this wait a bit, right? Yes. Thanks for understanding. I'll be back later once I can think more clearly. I'd like to check up on Uncle Dragan, make sure that old fart isn't still up and running. Fable, I'm guessing you could like to check in with your family too? Yes, I would love to make sure everyone's alright. Maybe Melly's with the Amaranthine Hydra. She really wanted to ask you for tea recommendations. I'm counting on you to return with a good story. Don't get too excited. I'll see if I can drag Ria and Fancy Pants along as well. I think they can use a drink. Speaking of which, got one for the road. Sure thing. Something strong to get you through all that socializing? You got it. Something for Kellen. We get a new strong drink? I don't think so. Sailor's Courage it is. A little bit of pepper. A shot of charisma. Little bit of dexterity. And some intelligence for the boy. There's no thoughts between those eyes. He's a big brother to Millie. He is. How do they even enter the tavern? Magic. Here. Strongest thing I could brew up for you. Thanks. Miss these drinks. A little. Oh. That's sweet. Don't dwell on it. Anyway. Abel, let's go. I'll be right there. I'm sure everybody will be okay, Innkeeper. So don't you worry about it. And make sure to keep a hot chocolate warm for Melly. I'm sure she'd love one of those. I'll give it my best. I know you will. Don't swim out too far. We'll see. Waters are dangerous these days. So what are you up to? Time to make sure I have enough ingredients for hot chocolate around, I guess. Hot chocolate! Good to see that you're open, Inky. And a good evening to you too, Una. Spare me the babbling, though I'm glad you seem unharmed. I am. Thanks to some protective spells I put on the inn a while back. Works better than any insurance. What about you? Are you unharmed? I'm as good as new. Might be missing an arm, but that doesn't mean I forgot how to swim. It's easier than walking, actually. And breathing in water instead of air was unexpectedly nice. These gills aren't just for decorative purposes. Felt a little like home, you know? But the water tasted different than that of the astral sea. More primordial, I might even say. I figured. But you don't seem very worried about it. Whatever happens is none of my business now. I'm retired. And water also doesn't bother me. Shouldn't bother you too much either, am I right? Since you're so close to... I knew you wouldn't forget. I might be old, but I'm not senile. Me neither. So you wouldn't call the primordial sea your home, then? I've inhabited a few planes already. My past doesn't define the word home for me anymore. But you're right. Primordial water doesn't do any harm to me. Even if I wanted to drown in it, I wouldn't be able to. But honestly, I was more worried about my patrons and the inn itself. I hope everyone is safe and well. I wouldn't worry too much about all your regulars. Adventurers are tough folk, and your drinks toughen them up even further. I have faith you're right. But your tavern... well, let's just say it's definitely seen some better days. That's kind of an understatement. It looks like... Ouch. I've been working the whole day to clean up as much as I can. My condolences. Say, have you ever talked to the Wizard of Moria? No. Sadly, I haven't had the pleasure. Oh. You should if you get the chance. He's always loved all kinds of spells and enchantments. More of the kind of involving trickery, like puzzles and traps. But I'm also sure he knows a protective spell or two. I mean, he's been protecting his wizard's tower for quite some time now. I'll keep that in mind if I ever meet him. But I suppose you're not just here to talk. How about a drink? You definitely have a way with customer service. How about a drink that'll wake my old muscles up so I can help you tidy up your tavern afterwards? I can't quite remember having asked for help. What's that? My old ears suddenly can't understand what you're saying. How unfortunate. Maybe a strong drink would help. All right, coming right up. Did Minty come back for a manuscript? Not yet. Not yet, but I think we'll probably be seeing her soon, because it's been definitely a week, it feels like. Sailor's courage it is. Well, at least Una doesn't hate us. I thought that there would be a little bit more animosity with the backstory between Una and the innkeeper. Well, it sounds like they're just good friends. Blub 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 blub. There you go. A drink as powerful like the astral sea. Wonderful. I consumed enough primordial water to last me weeks. And it doesn't taste exactly like home, but the hint of elemental magic revives some old memories. I gotta say, you definitely know your craft. Thank you. Could I maybe convince you to just relax and let me do my work? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Forget it! Let's clean this messy tavern! If you insist. Before I forget, all that water swept some animal remains into my pockets. Don't really know where they came from. I don't feel any kind of astral energy coming from them. So, I assume they're either Gaian or primordial. And before I stab myself with them while cleaning, I wanted to check and see if you'd have any use for them. Stab? Yeah, they're surprisingly sharp. Oh, I'm curious. Let me see them. You're so easy. An infusion. It's a saber fang. What? These saber fangs are from the special fangs of the colossal saber-toothed tigers from the Forbidden Valley. They lose them bi-yearly and regrow them at remarkable speeds. It gives them haste. We have a new infusion. Hi, Dark Killer, welcome in. This looks so nice, it's a fun game. Thank you, Una. It may not be primordial, but I think I know just what to do with them. Gotta spice up some drinks? Maybe. Can't wait to try them then. And now, let's spice up this old rusty tavern. Welcome back to my tavern, brave adventurers. Good to see you're all unharmed and doing... well? Let's move my face over here. I'm gonna tell us what happened. Uh-oh. At least we didn't drown. By the way, who's that granny on your porch? Looks like she's collecting driftwood. Don't mind her. She's an old friend of mine with some weird habits. She wanted to help tidy up my tavern after the flood. That's kinda nice, actually. I suppose so. Couldn't convince her to let me do it alone. Did the flood hit you as well? You bet. Had to hold on to Ria for a quick second, else she would have been swept away like a twig. All you wished. Oh, you wished. We had just passed Themis when it happened. Luckily, there were 2 carriages nearby, wedged between sturdy trees and a large boulder. We managed to pull ourselves out of the raging waters and into those carriages. Thank the dragons. Could have gone south real quick. And your tavern looks a wee bit wet as well. It is. I've been working non-stop to clean it up. That's not good. Working non-stop? Comes with being self-employed, I get... No. I mean the flood. Never heard of a flood that massive. It spread all the way from Themis to Zenith. You're right. We certainly aren't that closest to the sea. Themis maybe, but not you're in. It's all still very recent. We'll have to wait until we know the true extent of it. But what about your mission? Did you complete it before the flood started? Oh no, did they fail? Come to think of it, Archie, you've been awfully quiet today. It's very unlike the noble hero I know. Give him a break, would you? We had some pretty rough nights. Oh, did something go wrong? The drink you prepared for us, those golden feathers. I remember. I mean, it did what it was supposed to. But it wasn't enough. Don't know if another potion could have changed our fate, though. What happened? I'm guessing I'm telling the stories then. Hi Marius, welcome in, good to see you. This is very cozy. Let's begin. We actually would have been well prepared if this had been a normal escorting mission, that is. It all started like a regular quest. We met our client in his temporary abode, which looked like it was worth more money than Care and I could ever make in our lives. Combined. Correct. Anyways, our client's name was Theodore. Theodore Hugo Frederick Vent Sinclair III, to be exact. He told us to politely not to call him by his full name, so we agreed on Theodore. He's the noble son of some wealthy diplomat, hence the long name. I figured. And you had to get him to Diria because of some financial conflicts between him and the mainland. Correct. At first, everything went surprisingly well. Since the magical bridge got destroyed, we had to get to Diria by ship. Because of the dispute, no ships from the mainland are allowed to dock in Amasa, so we had to take the long way. From the port of Windmore and the Windy Meadows to Twinborough, and then to Amasa by foot. All with a young nobleman that rarely strays from home. The kid had some quirks and mannerisms neither of us were familiar with, but luckily Archie here was able to help us out. It tended to be a little wary around rich people, but we actually got along quite well. Especially little Archie here was hanging on his every word. We didn't take the main road to avoid too much unwanted attention. Moving quickly through the Dirian tundra, we only encountered a few obstacles, like tree trunks. Ria and I kept the path clear while Archie entertained our client. It was quite useful after all, even though it was his first quest. He definitely knew how to tell stories and keep us entertained. Theodore loved every tale Archie told. Yeah, seems like you're a natural-born storyteller. I also have a surprising amount of knowledge about plants and stuff in that orange head of yours. Glad I could be of some help. Theo rarely went outside, so I assisted him with my knowledge of plants that sting or those with poison. It's a very helpful skill. Everything went as planned until the sun started setting. I think my ears picked it up first. They've, like a bunch of low humming sounds, far away still, but definitely unusual. Didn't hear anything, but I always trust the fluffy ears of Okaken over my own. I asked the two boys if those types of sounds were common around here, but they both denied it. That's when I started getting this weird feeling in my guts. Every experienced adventurer develops that sooner or later. It's like a sixth sense to keep you out of trouble. I know what you're talking about. A looming feeling deep within your stomach. I knew something was wrong and that if we didn't get out of there, our situation would only get worse. At first, I just told Ria didn't want to alarm the two boys. The client should never be afraid, that's just bad customer service. Agreed. So we quietly tried to figure out what to do. But then I could also faintly hear the deep sounds. But if I could hear them, Archie and Theodore could as well. They also heard us talking. That's fortunate. We agreed on positioning the two boys between us, even though Archie proclaimed he could fight as well. A simple but efficient lineup. Me at the back of the line, Kay in the front, because she got the best ears. Theodore was still calm. He said something along the lines of course they'd try and start an assault, so that's why I hired you, remember? He's not wrong. I just would have expected more, you know? As a regular kind of assassin. Whatever that might be. If you let me continue, you'd get it. Sorry, my bad. To make things worse, it got real dark real quick. And we could hear that guttural grunting all around us. She said, bog and crap, where are they? Where are they coming from? But, well, at first I could only see one, then two. And suddenly they were everywhere. Zombies. We were surrounded by zombies. I had to think fast. There weren't any gaps in their formation, so I knew we had to fight. Thanks to those enchanted feathers in your drink, I was able to quickly overpower two zombies by smashing their heads together. You're strong. I like strong women. I pushed those boys forward so they'd get moving. I knew if we wanted to get out of there in one piece, we needed to stay together. Care was blocking attacks left and right, slicing through rotten skin and brittle bones with a greatsword. It was a sight to behold. My sword lended me its power to fight us through. But I would have needed more time to figure out the plan. There were just so many of them. I knew we had to get back on the main road. The terrain was deep in the forest, and the forest was very uneven and made running away from a horde of undead even more difficult. How did so many of them get there? At least it was apparent why all those animals had disappeared on the road. They got eaten by the undead. We'd be next if we didn't get the out of there. So we ran. But Turns out, a nobleman's clothes aren't made for running. They're made for nothing except looking obnoxious. They're not even that comfortable. I was more prepared than Theo, but even some of my seams ripped. I could hear Rhea behind us telling us to hurry up unless we wanted to die. So I wrapped my hand around Theo's velvet-coated wrists and just didn't let go. There was no way I would let anyone die on my first mission. But then right before we got to the main road, I tripped. I suppose it was bound to happen. Rhea had somehow outrun us and was stumbling onto the main road ahead. I tried to pull Theo up to his feet, but his pants must have gotten caught on some thorns, and he just couldn't get up. I tried to get him free. I really tried, but my hands were so sweaty and shaky. I saw the zombies. I saw their rotting faces as they got closer, and I was too far ahead to realize what was going on, and when I finally noticed, it was too late. I knew getting to the road was our main priority, but when I got there, the two boys were missing. I knew something must have gone wrong. Turned around, and right as I saw Archie and Theodore on the ground, a bunch of zombies getting real close to them. I warded off the first two, maybe three, but there's just so many of them. Theo screamed, the most horrifying scream filled with pain and agony. I've read about that sort of scream before, but I didn't think it would sound so heartbreaking. Yes. That's when Rhea and Carolyn suddenly appeared next to us again. They pushed the zombies back and helped Theo get up. Well, as much as he could with what was left of his left leg. I knew I had to come up with a plan. There were too many zombies for us to fight, and running away would have been difficult since Theodore was hurt. But your drink was driving me forward. Kind of like a drinkable Lucky Charm. I had already slain a chimera, so I should be able to handle a few undead and a hurt client with ease. Slain a chimera? Yeah. Oh, you keep surprising me. Sadly, slaying all those undead wasn't a possibility, but maybe, I thought to myself, maybe I could outsmart them. Theo was hurt, and he also wasn't looking too good. The undead seemed to be drawn to the smell of his fresh blood. And thanks to your drink, I was quite hasty. I knew I could outrun any dead. So, out of him, I turned back to the other three. Rhea was trying to fight back dozens of monsters while Archie supported Theodore. I grabbed a piece of bloodied cloth that had been ripped off of Theodore's leg. I didn't know if they listened or if it was just the smell of what drew them to me, but I yelled, "I'm here! Come and get y'all a fresh piece of meat!" I thought she'd gone crazy, I tell ya. But it was a smart move. I definitely had their attention. Archie was out of it, so I told Rhea to just follow the path to a master and treat Theodore's wounds as quickly as possible. I would catch up with him as soon as I was done here. And that's what we did. I don't argue with a woman that are taller and faster than me. Quick thinking probably saved her ass. Good call, both of you. I led those brain-dead monsters into the opposite direction. Turns out, I could easily outrun them. But I wanted to get rid of them once and for all, or else we wouldn't have been safe for long. And as soon as I spotted a cliff between the trees with nothing but the vast sea further on, I knew what to do. I knew I had to override my instincts, so it was kind of dangerous. I yelled one more time, "Come and get me if you can." And then I threw a piece of cloth off the cliff. My instincts kicked in, wanting to play fetch, and luckily my will was stronger than the monsters. One after another, they tried to catch the blood-drenched fabric and jumped, falling to their, well, hopefully, final deaths. Hi, Paul Hit, welcome in. Good to see you. Can't believe that actually worked. Me neither. But otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here. I'm glad. Seems like the undead are kind of like pack animals, at least for the most part. A few of them didn't take the bait, but nothing my greatsword couldn't fix. I followed Rhea and the boys' tracks until we met up again. We could already see the light of a mast in the distance. Hi, Maredub. But we hadn't been fast enough. With every step, Theo's hand grasping my shoulder was getting weaker and weaker. I didn't even dare look at his face while I talked to him to keep him awake. Even when his answers started getting sparse and quiet. But you made it, right? Right? No. He didn't make it. Tell me that's not true. I wish it wasn't. But I never lie about someone's death. Especially not his. Hi, Campbell, welcome in. So sorry, Archie. I didn't know the mission would be so dangerous. It's not your fault, Innkeep. It's none of our faults either. Maybe I should have prepared a different drink for... It's alright. We did our best. Things don't always go as planned. Guess life isn't as magically perfect as the numerous tales I've read would suggest. Bad things can happen to anyone. Even to those with the purest of hearts. Some may deserve it, but most don't. I just wish it wouldn't have been him. It's such a selfish thought, but I can't get it out of my head. That's fine. It's just not fair. Why him? I apologize. I didn't mean to raise my voice like that. It's alright, kid. We know the pain you feel. No, some deaths are inevitable. Illness, old age, whatever it may be. Those are easier to stomach, even if they hurt. It's true. And then there are deaths which are completely unexpected. Those that don't feel fair to us. They make us think, oh, if only I did this, if I only said that, and so forth. You mustn't dwell on those feelings. It's okay to mourn, but you can't change the past. The only thing you can change is the future. Live the life your friend would have wanted for you. Make him proud. I suppose you're right. What did you do then? Did you still go to Amasa? We did, yes. He must have died just before we arrived. Someone from the night watch recognized him. We were immediately surrounded by healers, but it was already too late. You may bring bodies back from the dead, but not souls. After we explained the situation and how I got rid of the zombies, they offered for us to stay the night. We needed some rest before making our way back the next morning. I also sent a letter to Theo's family. I wanted to... After all, I've known them since I was a child, and I was with him in his last moments. If someone was going to deliver the bad news, it needed to be me. I'm not sure I could have acted so calm and collected. I really wasn't. Also, I don't know if this is perhaps too macabre, but would you hold on to something for me? Of course. What is it? It's the quill that I used to write the letter to Theo's parents. I must have lost my supplies somewhere on the way to Diria, so I had to buy a new quill. First, I thought it was a nice memento, but the wound is still too fresh. I'll hold on to it as long as you need me to. Thank you, Innkeeper. Just... what's going to happen with the dispute now between Diria and the mainland? Now that an ambassador has died on Dirian soil, it's just... it's such a big mess. And we didn't fix anything. We just made things worse. Anyway, I'm just terribly tired. Please excuse me. Good night, everyone. You're gonna sleep here tonight. Sometimes a little company can do wonders. And you'll be safe from any potential floods. I'll also be sleeping here. I suppose you're right. Maybe I'll occupy one of your rooms then, dear innkeeper. Of course. Go on upstairs, third door on the left, make yourself at home. I think I'll just sleep. But I appreciate your kindness. Thank you. Welcome in, Poop Blade. Hello, Victoria. Good night, everyone. I hope you'll be alright. Let's a kid grieve. I guess asking if either of you would like a drink would be a little insensitive at this point. Don't. Got it. Instead, yeah, let's talk about your extraordinary fighting skills. I'll say, I was really impressed with how you decimated those zombies. He's a good beast slayer to no one. Nah, I'm more of a general fighting type, you know? I can always appreciate two strong hands. Such a well-crafted greatsword on top of that. Happy to see you appreciate solid craftsmanship. It was a gift from my Baba. She told me the great dragons themselves gifted it to her. I don't know if that's true. Could be. You won against the Chimera after all. You might be onto something there. Have you ever heard of the Great Axe of the most powerful weapon ever, forged by the origin of this world themselves? You bet. You think it really exists? I mean, my Baba loved to tell lost stories, but if a sword was made by the dragons, maybe Ur's great axe is also more than just a myth. Dwarves have their origins in the subterranean caves, you know? The plane of Ur. I grew up in the labyrinth of caves surrounded by gems and ores, legends and tales. I mean, I haven't seen it with my two own eyes yet, but I'm convinced the legendary weapon exists. I bet it's so large I probably wouldn't even recognize it as an axe. I've heard Ur keeps it in their resting place at all times. Yeah, though so far no one has found it yet. Hopefully no one ever has to. What do you mean? You know the tale. If someone was to wake Ur up, the apocalypse would begin. It's just an old tale, right? Something you tell kids that don't want to eat their food. You know, eat up or Ur will awaken. Questionable parenting techniques, if you ask me. Yeah, I got to hear that a few times when I was a wee bairn. All those tales ever did make me want to craft a legendary weapon myself. Have you ever made something like that? Oh yeah, I will soon. I'll make the greatest weapon ever forged and smash this year's Orhart blacksmithing competition to bits. I'll outcraft my ex-husband with ease. Ex-husband? Yeah. We used to work together. Now he claims I wouldn't stand a chance without him. I'll prove him wrong. Anyways, Inky, yeah, I think it's getting quite late. And it's been an exhausting week. Absolutely agreed. Let's get some rest. Then look for another quest elsewhere to afford me crafting materials. Good night, you two. Good night, Kaelin. Night, Innkeep. My foot, your head. Hello, welcome, and good to see you. Have we met Tavern Quincy yet? We have. We have.